Welcome to Flow with Shreya. I'm Shreya and today I'm going to be breaking down Vinyasa for you. Many students ask, what does it mean when a teacher says, go through your Vinyasa or flow through your Vinyasa? And I'm going to be talking about that today. So if you've ever wondered what a Vinyasa is or how to go through a Vinyasa, come flow with me. The word Vinyasa has many different meanings. One of the meanings is actually a style of yoga that is practiced. The style of yoga that I'm trained in is Ashtanga Vinyasa Yoga. This basically refers to the lineage of teachings that has been passed down from generation to generation, from yogi to yogi. And this is the active style of yoga called Vinyasa Yoga that I teach here on YouTube as well as in my classes in person. Another meaning for the word Vinyasa is simply a transition between postures. It also means to place in a special way. So in a yoga practice, in a Ashtanga Vinyasa practice, when a teacher says flow through your Vinyasa, this actually refers to a specific sequence of postures that is tied together into transition from one set of postures to the next set of postures. We also tend to tie our breath in and out with each movement within this sequence. So traditionally the sequence starts when you're at the top of your mat, you're stepping back to a plank pose, you're lowering down halfway or all the way, lifting your heart into a baby cobra or upward dog, and then shifting yourself into a downward facing dog. It seems like a lot, and there are many different steps, but we'll go through them one by one, as well as some modifications you can take. So let's start at the top of our mats in standing. So say you're in a flow and you're at the top of your mat and your teacher says, flow through your Vinyasa. All this means is we're folding forward, exhale, inhale, lift up halfway, exhale, plant the palms. You can bend your knees here if you need to. Step back 1 foot at a time and find your plank pose. In your plank pose, you can keep your knees lifted or lower your knees to the ground. Next, we'll exhale and lower down. Now you can come into a Chaturanga Dandasana, or you can lower all the way down to your belly in this space. First, I'll show you the plank to Chaturanga. So when we step back to the plank, exhale, lower down halfway. Inhale, lift to your upward facing dog. Exhale, we'll go to downward facing dog. Shift your hips up and back. Now this whole sequence was Vinyasa. Let's flow through that one more time with modifications. Exhale, step to the top of your mat. Inhale, lift up halfway. Let's flow through a Vinyasa. Plant your palms, bend your knees if you need to. Step back with the opposite leg, find your plank pose. Let's come onto our knees for a modification here. As you exhale, lower down. You can come down halfway, or you can go down all the way. From this space, you can lift up into your upward facing dog, or you can lift up into your baby cobra. Next, we'll tuck your toes under and press up, shift your hips up and back into a downward facing dog. Take a few cycles of breath here. Exhale, lower onto your knees, come into a seat. So now you can see that this sequence of specific postures can help us transition from the top of our mat into downward facing dog to take us into the next set of postures. You might have also noticed that this sequence is familiar because it is part of Sun Salutation A as well as Sun Salutation B. But you can also see there's so much room for modification in this space. Whether you're a beginner, dealing with injuries, or just plain not feeling it, you can change and modify your Vinyasa, especially when you practice with me. I'd like you to take to heart the meaning of Vinyasa that says, place your body in a special way. So you can start at the top of your mat, step straight back to downward facing dog, if that's what you need. You can start at the top of your mat, you can come into a tabletop, and then you can come into your downward facing dog, if that's what you need. Take each practice as it comes, listen to your own inner wisdom, and listen to your own body. Let's flow through another vinyasa, and I'll show you a couple different variations. So starting at the top of our mats, exhale and fold forward. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, plant your palms, step back to your tabletop. Inhale, you can even take a cow pose here. Exhale, tuck your toes under, shift your hips up and back, downward facing dog. You can call that a vinyasa if you'd like. Exhale to the top of your mat. Inhale, lift up halfway. Vinyasa can also look like this. Exhale, plant the palms, just step back, shift your hips back, downward facing dog. Breathe here. Inhale, bend the knees, look forward. Exhale to the top of your mat. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, plant the palms, step back, lower onto your knees, come all the way down. Inhale to your baby cobra. Exhale to your downward facing dog. Connect your breath with your movement and take any movements along the way. Exhale, step to the top of your mat. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, plant the palms, step back to your plank, come onto your knees. This time lower down halfway. Inhale to your upward facing dog. Exhale to your downward facing dog. Now you might have seen me roll over my toes, and that is not a requirement. You can always just step one foot and then the other. Exhale, the knees down, sink back into your child's pose. Inhale and come up. So you can see from those variations that there are so many different ways you can transition from the top of your mat into a downward facing dog. And when you practice with me, you can take any of those variations. You can even take all of those variations throughout your practice. Now, the more you practice these vinyasas throughout your flows, the stronger you'll get. And the stronger you get, the more you might want to challenge yourself. And you can do that in this space too. Again, there is so much room for variation. Let me show you a more challenging variation. Start at the top of your mat. Inhale, your arms up. Exhale and fold. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, plant the palms. Step back with your right leg. Keep your left leg lifted. Exhale and lower. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Now let's do that on the other side. Step to the top of your mat. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, plant the palms. Step the left leg back. Keep the right leg lifted as you send it back. Exhale and lower. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Breathe here. Exhale, lower onto your knees and come into a seat. So you can see how you can make your vinyasas even more challenging by lifting one leg at a time depending on which side you're flowing on. And you can also add additional chaturanga dandasans within your vinyasa to make it a little bit more challenging for your upper body. I hope that helps you understand what vinyasa means, what the different variations are that you can take, and just the fact that you can always make it your own. This is your practice on your mat, and you can flow in the way that your body needs. To be honest, there have been practices where I may have started out with a more modified version of a vinyasa, and throughout practice, I challenged myself a little bit more. There have also been times where I started out feeling strong, and as the practice went on, I just had to modify it or step right back to down dog. Any of these variations is completely fine. However you choose to take your vinyasa, connect your breath with your movement, engage your core, as you move through these postures. I hope that helped you make sense of what Vinyasa means and how you can use Vinyasa to your advantage in your yoga practice. If you found this helpful, it always means a lot to me if you take a second to click the thumbs up button and subscribe to my channel. Also be sure to share this video with those you care about as well as on social media. If you do share it on social media, be sure to tag me at Flow with Shreya. If you have any more questions about Vinyasa or any other poses, let me know in the comments below and I'm happy to help out. If you want to practice your new skills in a flow, check out this Vinyasa playlist right here full of Vinyasas, and YouTube thinks you'll like that video down there. Thanks for joining me. Namaste.